Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for Monday, August 25th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over my core picks. It's going to be 5 players in total, 1 pitcher, 4 hitters. That is going to be based on a combination of past performance versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent history. And then after that, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk through my top GPP teams to stack for Monday's slate overall. And then in the morning, I will be listing my early morning weather report. They have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher listed down there. And then I will also be listing as many of these starting lineups as I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely make sure that you are checking up down in that comment section so that you do have the most up-to-date and relevant information, especially as we do head into lock. But without further ado, we'll get right into the core picks. We're going to start off at that pitcher position with Max Scherzer of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's at $9,600 now, currently averaging about 29.5 fantasy points per game, goes against the Minnesota Twins. He's been pitching really well as of late. He does have some pretty good history versus the Twins in the past, although it is a very limited sample size. He did not pitch against them in 2024, has not pitched against them yet this season. And if we look at what he's done so far on this young season for him, 4 wins, ERAs at 3.6. Once again, he's averaging about 29.5 fantasy points per game and $9,600. And like I did mention, he's starting to pitch pretty well as of late, so definitely do like that upside with him once again. However, there are quite a few high-end pitchers out there, so if you want to play a different one, definitely feel free to do so. Some of the higher-end guys, though, like Therese Skubal, he's going against the A's, so there is decent upside there, but he's got a couple guys that have hit him pretty well on that A's team. Same thing can be said about Christopher Sanchez going against the Mets. Hunter Green versus the Dodgers, that can go either way. So Max Scherzer's probably arguably the safest one on the slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved down to our hitters. We're going to start off at second base with Gleyber Torres. He's at $3,000, currently averaging just over 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He is going against the Athletics, and JT Ginn is the expected starting pitcher for them. He is 2 for 3 with 1 home run versus JT Ginn in the past. He has at least 1 hit in 3 out of his last 4 games. 2 of those games have been multi-hit games. No home runs during that time span, but he does have 2 double-digit performances and 3 games of at least 9 fantasy points or higher, so does offer a relatively safe floor. Has some potential upside at the same time as well. If we look at what he's done so far in the season, 262 batting average, 13 home runs, 60 RBIs, once again averaging just over 10 fantasy points per game at $3,000. Then we're going to move down to his teammate in third base, Zach McKinstry, who is in the midst of a career year as we do speak. He's at $3,000, and he's currently averaging just under 9.5 fantasy points per game. He is also going against the Athletics. JT Ginn is still the expected starting pitcher for them, and he is 2 for 3 versus JT Ginn in his career. And if we look at McKinstry, he's a valuable piece because you can play him at shortstop, third base, second base, and outfield. And we technically have him listed here at third base since second base and shortstop are occupied. You could slide him over to outfield at the same time as well. But if we look at what he's done as of late, he has at least 1 hit in his last 4 games that he has started. 1 multi-hit game during that time span, 1 home run, 1 double-digit performances. So a little bit more in terms of the ones there than we'd like to see, but he does have at least 9 fantasy points in 3 of those last 4 games. So definitely offers us a relatively safe floor with some potential upside at the same time as well. And he is currently sitting at a 266 batting average, 11 home runs, 42 RBIs, once again averaging just under 9.5 fantasy points per game at $3,000. And then we're going to slide over to shortstop. We got Corey Seager here at $3,300, currently averaging just under 11 fantasy points per game. He is going against the Los Angeles Angels, and Jose Soriano is the expected starting pitcher for them. He is 4 for 9 with 1 home run versus Jose Soriano in his career. And if we look at what Corey Seager has been doing as of late, it's been really good. He's got at least 1 hit in 7 out of his last 8 games, 4 multi-hit games during that time span, 2 home runs, 5 double-digit performances, and 6 games of 9 fantasy points or higher. So definitely do like the floor that comes with Corey Seager as of late, as well as that potential upside. And if we look at what he's done so far in the season, 266 batting average, 19 home runs, 47 RBIs, once again averaging just under 11 fantasy points per game at $3,300. And then last but not least, we got his teammate in Wyatt Langford. He's at $3,300 as well, currently averaging just under 11 fantasy points per game, and he is also going against the Los Angeles Angels. Jose Soriano is still the expected starting pitcher for them. And if we look at what Wyatt Langford has done for him in the past, he's 3 for 5. He has at least 1 hit in 4 out of his last 5 games, 3 multi-hit games during that time span, 2 home runs, and 4 double-digit performances. So this is one that we're been on some of that past history, but that recent history has been really good at the same time as well. And he's currently at a 250 batting average, 19 home runs, 54 RBIs, and once again averaging just under 11 fantasy points per game at $3,300. And if you were to go with the 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $12,800 remaining. $3,200 remaining per player, so it looks a little bit like a balanced build, but there are some potential value options on today's slate. Not the longest list history for a slate just in general, so feel free to mix and match as you do see fit. Stacks will obviously play a big role in that overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for Monday's slate overall. So we're going to start off with the New York Yankees. They're going against the Washington Nationals. Brad Lord is the expected starting pitcher for them. I believe there's only one guy in the Yankees that has history versus him in the past. I think that's Ryan McMahon, if I remember correctly. So not too much to go off there, but definitely do love the upside of that Yankees lineup just in general. And then we had the San Diego Padres going against Bryce Miller. His first start back was not pretty whatsoever. So if this start is anything like that one, I definitely like getting into some Padres bats. A limited history versus them in the past, but definitely do like that upside. And then last but not least, we had the Detroit Tigers. Obviously, two of them are in our core picks for today, but definitely do like getting to them versus JT again. They have hit him really well in the past, although that is in a limited sample size, but definitely do like the upside of that Tigers lineup once again. But with that being said, that's what I do have in terms of my core picks as well as top GPP teams to stack for Monday, August 25th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then once again in the morning, I'll be listing my early morning weather report that will have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then I'll also be listing as many of these starting lineups as I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely make sure that you are checking up down that comment section throughout the day, especially as we do get closer to lock, so that you do have the most up-to-date and relevant information. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now we have MLB DFS in terms of the core picks, typically Monday through Friday. I know Thursdays have been a little wonky as of late, smaller slate. I think this Thursday is going to be the same way, so do not expect a video coming out on Thursday, but we'll still be dropping my Patreon notes for free on that day. And then I also do have my CFL DFS video coming out once a week that typically comes out on Wednesdays, although this week the games will be played on Sunday and Monday due to the Labor Day Classic. So expect that video to come out either on Friday or Saturday this week, just in general. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS and Prize Picks. If you are a brand new user to either one of those sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks, it's 100% match up to $100, and then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether that is down in the comment section below or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS for Monday, August 25th.